All right, everyone, welcome back to Tennessee This Week. The conversation continuing now with Craig Griffith, Courtney Piper, and Gary Lowe joining us today. And on the local level, everyone, we've been talking about a clash that appears to be brewing between Knox County's new mayor and some people on commission, along with the law director. It has to do with the pension lawsuit, which Mayor Jacobs wanted settled, but commission didn't have the votes to put it on its agenda. Now, Mayor Jacobs called a special commission session. We don't know the outcome as of the taping of this show just yet, but Jacobs has only been in office for a few weeks. Gary, what do you think of a dust-up of this size starting so quickly into his administration?
Well, Mayor Jacobs ran on the idea of smaller government and less taxation. He's trying to save our residents of Knox County money. It's unclear at this point, since both the Mayor Glenn Jacobs and Law Director Bud Armstrong feel that they have the ability to settle a lawsuit. So it may be Chancellor John Weaver who decides that on November 12th. However, I can understand Mayor Jacobs wanting to save taxpayers' monies. Evidently, we've spent $600,000 already on legal fees. However, Law Director Armstrong is concerned that in the long run it will cost the taxpayers more, because what this lawsuit would do is change the way that the pensions are calculated. It would be based on salary only and not salary and benefits like vacation. And so the settlement, though, I think did allow for 43 vacation days of pay within calculating that pension. So it just depends now on who has the authority to settle that. County Commission, as you know, we just reported, didn't put it on their agenda because there were 4 commissioners who said it's not the business of County Commission to settle lawsuits, although others on the commission felt that this would save taxpayers money and it's the right thing to do. So I think we need to get a legal interpretation of this first, and that may come from Chancellor Weaver.
Craig, what do you think of how all of this is shaking out right now?
Well, this isn't a comment on Glenn Jacobs specifically, but the county has a weak mayor form of government. In contrast to the city, which has a strong mayor form of government. The city mayor appoints the law director and the police chief and all those services. So there's fairly a good deal of uniformity once the city takes a position on something. Here in the county charter, there's a flaw. There's a question whether, is it the mayor, a county mayor, or is it the county law director who has the final say? And that's something I think should be cleared up in the next Charter Review Commission that comes up. But it looks to me like this is a proposal that's going to save county taxpayer money. I think that everyone should get on board and let's go ahead and adopt this instead of paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees.
Courtney?
This is a really tough one to make heads or tails out of, because you really don't know who has that authority to settle lawsuits. So the safest thing to do for Knox Countyans in terms to make sure that we're not just arbitrarily spending money is to just let it work its way, work itself out through the court system. But, what's clear from this whole political process is you'll probably see Mayor Jacobs trying to recruit some folks to run for law director so that he's got somebody who's a little bit more on his side with these particular kinds of issues.
Do you think everything needs to be revised, like you were saying, charter revision?
Well, the county takes a review, I think, every 10 years with the Charter Review Commission, so I think that's one thing that needs to be looked at. And I think our friend Frank Cagle, who writes a column for Knox Today, pointed out the fact there really isn't a succession plan. When Mayor Jacobs is, doing some wrestling in Australia or wherever he goes, it's really confusing as to who is in charge back here in Knox County. So that's another issue I think needs to be taken up. So yes, there needs to be a Charter Review Committee on this.
All right, let's talk about another big story over the last few weeks. The last week or so, we've been seeing headlines about the caravan of migrants from Central America making its way north. The president issuing warnings to Mexico to take action. Still a very fluid situation as of the taping of this show. These migrants right now, again, as we're taping, still moving through Mexico. Courtney, what do you think of this situation and the stance that the president is taking on this so far?
I think the president's stance is incredibly unfortunate because, again, he is using people's fears and prejudices to rally his base to go and vote for the candidates that he likes, instead of really thinking about, in his role as president of the United States, how can he help resolve this issue. He has told blatant out-and-out lies, and again, and that's all an attempt to just rally his base, dig into their fears, use their fears, and leverage that to get people to the polls.
Gary, what do you think of this situation?
I think those are Democrat talking points, keywords.
Gary, he has absolutely lied about the population here and said that they're all criminals and they're coming to invade our country. He has told flat-out lies.
It's cost Americans billions of dollars, Courtney, my friend.
He has told flat-out lies in his rallies for no other reason than to rally people.
These are not migrants. These are folks who are coming here for economic reasons. They're being coached with false stories, needing asylum because of their safety. We need to build a wall, and we need legal immigration. We need to revamp our immigration policies in America, because right now we have the bar is too low. We need to tighten up the laws and close loopholes, because what we've seen from these migrants who've already come to America is, just like the homeless folks here in Knoxville, we see an outbreak of disease, infectious diseases like polio, smallpox, and tuberculosis, things that America...
Polio is eradicated in the United States.
Eradicated in the United States.
I haven't seen any single population
Craig, they're talking about it's coming with these waves. And when does it end? This is the second wave we've seen. This is Honduran radicals funded by Venezuelans bringing people to America to weaken our nation and to make our president look bad.
We just have 20 seconds left. We want to give Craig 15 seconds.
I think that we need strong borders in the United States to be a country, but there are, Middle East terrorists in this term. Half of these people are children. So I think that that's been overemphasized, and we do need a guest worker policy and stronger immigration laws.
We will talk more about this next time. Unfortunately, we are out of time, everyone. If you want to watch this show again, you can find it on our website. Of course, that is WATE.com. Thanks for joining us. Have a great weekend.